இன்னும் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணல. நோட்டிஃபிகேஷன் வந்துருக்கா லைவ் பண்ணி ஆடியோ. Pandi sir. Pandi sir, shall we start, sir?
Yes, sir. Shall we wait for 2 more minutes, sir? Shall we wait for some more participants to join?
Okay. ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணிடலாம் சார்.
Rajalingam sir,
Yes, Professor.
shall we start the session?
Yeah, sure, sir. Yeah.
Good evening, all the participants. I am Dr. C. Pandiswaran, working as an associate professor in our college in St. Joseph's College of Engineering for the past 13 years. So on behalf of our college management and on behalf of our Electronics and Instrumentation Engineering Department, I would like to welcome you all for today's webinar session. So it is indeed a great pleasure for me to introduce our today's webinar speaker, Mr. Rajalingam, to all the participants. Before his introduction, at the outset, I would like to thank our chairman, Dr. Babu Manoharan sir, and our principal, Dr. Vaddi Sheshagiri Rao sir, our dean madam, Dr. Parvadavardhani, and our HODs, Dr. Sivakumar and Dr. Deepa, for diligently encouraging us to conduct these kind of webinars. So these kind of webinars, which will be very much useful for creating awareness in the current trends and improving knowledge in various domains of students, staffs, and research scholars. Coming to the introduction of today's speaker, Mr. Rajalingam, Senior Manager, Quality, Six Sigma, Master Black Belt in Wipro Limited. Currently, he plays the role of Six Sigma Master Black Belt in Wipro Limited, driving end-to-end Six Sigma based process improvement initiatives. With over 17 years of experience in quality, Rajalingam has trained more than 7,000 service managers and delivery heads in process improvements techniques of Lean and Six Sigma. He has mentored more than 1,500 Six Sigma based change initiatives in his career, spread across multiple countries, domains, and technologies in Wipro Limited. As well as he also served in Sutherland for some years. He has led Wipro team in more 15 different Six Sigma forums like Confederation of Indian Industry, American Society for Quality, Frost and Sullivan's PERP, Indian Statistical Institute, National Institution for Quality and Reliability, and he has won 150 plus Best Six Sigma project awards. Apart from Six Sigma, Rajalingam has worked extensively in the fields of enterprise and operational risk management and lead the implementation of standards and frameworks based on ISO, COPC, and CMMI. He is a certified Six Sigma Black Belt from Indian Statistical Institute and ASQ, and he has completed his graduation in Computer Science Engineering and post-graduation in Quality Engineering and Management from Anna University, Chennai. Over to speaker, Mr. Rajalingam. Please take over the session, sir.
Thank you, Professor. That was a nice introduction. So good evening, all of you. This is Professor said everything about me. So I'm a Master Black Belt. I'm playing a Master Black Belt role in Six Sigma. So some of you might wonder what is this Black Belt, Master Black Belt. So it has nothing to do with martial arts. It's more about driving excellence or handling problems, handling issues in the organization. So in large organizations or even small scale organizations, day-to-day basis face several hurdles, several problems, several issues, right? So an organization means it's all about decision making. It requires some amount of understanding of the problem, and there are several ways how these problems are being handled. Often, the people who handle problems are seen like heroes in organizations, just like your movies, right? anyone who solves problems is a hero, right? So, but in organizations, that is not a good culture. Though we see a general manager or a delivery manager, we appreciate him, we give awards. This used to happen in many organizations whenever he solves a problem. Uh, the problem of appreciating these guys are, first of all, the problem shouldn't have occurred at all. He let the problem happen, and then fixing the problem by his own intelligence, etc., is something not to be encouraged across the culture. Across different countries, this is how most of the companies are have done in past. Nowadays it is reducing because there is a lot of focus on proactively fixing the issues. If someone can do the job properly, there is no need for an escalation or a complaint or an issue from a customer, right? So most of you, as a customer of various brands like your telecom company, or if you have a car, or if you have a motorbike, right? um, you really don't want to have any issues in a product which you have bought um, out of money, right? So as long as the product is made in conformance to your expectations, there shouldn't be any issues, right? So a master black belt, like me, there are, every organization has someone at this role, a master black belt, who will train a lot of black belts to handle problems alone. So, unlike a delivery manager or a person who regularly works in a particular delivery unit or a particular process and delivers products continuously, if he faces a problem, these black belts will go and support him and give feedbacks, coach him, and um, set the processes intact, and then they walk out. So this is the role of Six Sigma black belts across all organizations. So in Wipro, there are about 400 plus black belts who do this kind of um, um, fixing problems. It's not only fixing a problem which has already occurred, but they also fix proactively. They identify what can go wrong and fix these issues. That's a typical role of Six Sigma black belt. There are it's usually part of quality teams in all organizations. So I just want to in this presentation, I want to explain the importance of the quality, the importance of the analytics and the artificial intelligence in today's world to meet customer requirements. Um, some of you might have some understanding about our IT industry, information technology. So just like many other IT industries, Wipro also, I would say Wipro also is into driving latest technologies, adapting to latest trends, etc. But Wipro is, compared to many other organizations, we are much ahead. We have learned the tectonic changes that are happening in the market. Wipro is not just a regular IT organization. Gone are the days when we used to work for IT solutions like uh, developing a portal or managing an ERP for a customer. There are various IT solutions that we used to give, and we are doing that now also. But our customer requirements are changing day by day. Those who you also would have experienced a lot of changes in our way of life in last 15, 20 years, right from the way how our telecom service providers work, um, right from the teams, um, right from various industries. You would have seen a lot of changes happening, right? So all these changes require some amount of um, some amount of fundamental way of working has to change. So most of our customers, they come to us not just for IT solutions. They come for consulting. they ask us, this is a new platform. We want to design solutions for the new platform. One best example that I can give you is, you might know the way how our retail cabs, the way how our taxi industry is working. We don't have that call taxis anymore. It's about app-based systems, right? Um, and look at your banking, the way banking has changed. There are a lot of areas where a lot of industries have gone through tectonic changes. When I say tectonic, I'm talking about profound changes at a platform level. Um, the way how they have changed, it's humongous. I myself, a customer of banks here. I remember my banking experience back in just 10 years ago, in some of the very popular Indian banks. Right now, the way how the transactions are processed is much different. I don't need to go to a bank for every small thing. Everything is in my hand, in my cell phone. I don't need to carry cash anymore. I can spend without cash. Right? Things are changing in the customer business in the domains, which calls for innovative solutions from us. Before I get into some details of this, I just want to touch some basics. Some of you, I don't know how many of you are really into have read anything about quality. But just to talk about quality, in the literal meaning of quality is making sure you are meeting the requirements. There are several definitions given by various quality gurus, various standards. But one of the first definitions that came in 1930s, I'm talking about first industrial revolution times, is fitness for use, which was defined by a quality guru, Joseph and Juran. And our Six Sigma techniques define Six Sigma slightly in a different way. It talks about number of defects per million opportunities. So defect is something, the meaning of defect. Defect is something which is not meeting customer requirement. Um, you know, um, if a manufacturer, if a motorcycle manufacturer makes 10 motorcycles, how many of these 10 motorcycles are really useful for the end users? If there is, for example, if a motorcycle has a problem, it can have any type of problem. The lights may not, the headlight may not work, or the motorcycle may not start. These are type of defects. The expectation is there should not be any defects. So Philip Crosby, he's another quality guru. He defined quality in terms of conformance to requirements. So these requirements need not be only from an end customer; it can be from an internal customer also. So basically, a customer is happy only when his requirements are met. And that is exactly what we call as quality. The reason why I'm talking about quality is, how much ever technology changes come up, customer remains a customer, and meeting his requirement remains a commitment of every organization. There is no organization that can be successful without meeting customer requirements. So just because you can make a lot of new innovative products, it doesn't mean you can compromise on quality. So the focus on quality across all the across all the organizations will be there. Um, so similarly, in Wipro also we have a separate team which deals with quality, and we also engineer tools the way how the uh, products are made. When I say product, in Wipro it's in IT side it's more about delivering software products, delivering IT solutions like networking, cloud, etc. So, in a simple way, how I can define quality is, when I said conformance to requirements, there are three things which will affect a customer experience in quality. Um, Process is nothing but a set of steps that I do to make a product, and performance is it's an ability, or I would say it's what I actually deliver to the customer. Third one is perception. So if I give a very simple example, if you know how to make a cup of tea, right? The way how you make a cup of tea is source the right tea plant, source the right milk and right sugar.
Sir, sir, excuse me, sir. Uh, your mic is having some noise, sir. Can you check it? No, sir. Now, okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir. ஹலோ, குட் ஈவினிங் மேடம். இப்போ ஒரு மீட்டிங்கில் இருக்கேன். அந்த இது ஹோஸ்ட் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கேன். ஓகே.
Six Sigma. So I spoke a lot about Six Sigma. I just want to highlight the steps involved. These are the 5 steps which all black belts will follow. They define the problem, they measure the amount of problem, they analyze the problem, and come up with improvement solutions and control the problem so that it doesn't happen in future. This is the general approach. Now, where do I see analytics here? So this is analyze is the stage where I have to deal with data. And the way how we used to analyze were purely based on hypothesis testing. Many of you would have learned what is hypothesis testing in your college. Basically, it's about null hypothesis, as find out what could have gone wrong, and do a proper hypothesis test and validate whether it is true or not. That was the only thing, or that was the most commonly used way of analytics. But now, because of increasing computing power, we are able to do a lot more in analytics. I will showcase some of them in subsequent slides. Another part of Six Sigma is once I know the root causes, then I need to improve, then I need to fix the problem. So this is the stage exactly I will use artificial intelligence. So these analytics and artificial intelligence are game changers in the way how we drive quality. The way I belong to quality team, I drive Six Sigma. The way how I need to redefine the way of Six Sigma is by improving my analytical capability and my capability to come up with AI-based solutions, artificial intelligence-based solutions. That's exactly I want to discuss about. So, what is artificial intelligence? This is the talk of the town every year. This is exactly what is spoken about. It's not limited to IT industry. Artificial intelligence is there everywhere. I won't say it is just about computer science. It's a combination of computer science, mathematics, and the domain expertise. I don't know. I'm not sure whether this batch has any computer engineers or computer science engineering students here. But what I'm trying to say is you will have an advantage. But it's not limited to computer science alone. That's what I'm trying to say. In other words, if I put it across, for IT. AI is not computerization. AI is not computerization. It is more than that. Computers have changed our lives in last 3-4 decades. At least from 1960s or 70s. Computers are there. A lot of automation has been done. Your CNC machines, they are based on computers. Our Indian Railways reservation system, they are based on computers. Any manual work or almost every manual work is kind of automated. So these are the areas where IT companies were focused on. But there are areas where computers are not good. There are areas where we are much better than computers, like face recognition, outlier detection. Computers are not that good in translations. If I want to automatically translate my speech in English into Tamil or any foreign language, computers are not that great. So artificial intelligence is about developing the capability of the computers to mimic the behavior of human. Basically, computers should be able to work like a human. Computers should be able to learn and understand how we are working. Some of you would have experienced this with voice recognition apps in your iPhones or in your Android apps. I'm talking about OK Google or iPhones, Siri, etc. Some of you would have experienced Alexa also, right? So, it gets trained according to your voice. The Alexa which you buy, or the OK Google that you use in your cell phone, right? As you speak with it more and more, it recognizes you. It learns from the way how you speak. The way how you pronounce a word will be different from another person. But this voice recognition app gets you know gets its learning from you. Uh, Andrew Ng is a very important person in this field of artificial intelligence. He has contributed a lot in sensitizing or training a lot of computer engineers in AI. So he says artificial intelligence will be the new electricity. The way how AI will be seen in future will be similar to the way how we see electricity today. It will transform the way how our industries operate. It will transform our way of life. There is one more, not only Andrew Ng, there are a lot of researchers on this. There is one Deloitte case study which talks about how artificial intelligence applications will increase in next 2 to 3 years. Some of you may have experience with Netflix or Amazon Prime movies, right? It helps you to it recommends movies to you, right? When you depending on the type of movie that you see, it recommends what other movies that you like. Similarly, in your YouTube, right, you get to see recommendations according to what videos that you see, right? If you like artificial intelligence as a subject, if you see one video on AI, it will fetch more and more videos on the same subject. That's product applications, not limited to recommendation alone, but they are doing a lot. Process applications, one best example is your voice response systems. Now, our IVRS, interactive voice response systems, that you get to see in Indian Railways, or you know what is IVRS, right? Now, this IVRS are getting some cognitive features also. So basically, IVRS will be able to talk to you like another human being. It helps you to nowadays you speak to a person in call center, right? So once these are in, there won't be a need for call center agents. You will be able to, the computers will be able to provide all responses and queries, etc. And there are many call centers who have successfully applied many things, though they may not have automated it completely, but there are many call centers who have reduced the call volume, which are reaching to a real human agent, and which is handled by AI-based voice response systems. Another area where AI applications is growing is insight applications, basically, which is based on predictive modeling techniques. I would say in your taxi booking, if you book a taxi through Ola, right, it shows you how much time is left for the taxi to arrive, or how much time will it take for you to reach your destination. This is based on some kind of predictive modeling technique. It requires some amount of data crunching, and so this is another area where AI is expected to grow exponentially. Okay, coming back to my area, because I'm a quality manager, or I need to see where how I can use AI in my areas. I also need to ensure AI doesn't fail, right? So I gave you an example of how to make a cup of tea, right? There's a process involved. Making a cup of tea itself has so many variants. Uh, right, the way how you, I'm sure you would have experienced the difference in the uh, taste of cup of tea made by different people, because because of the change in amount of ingredients that go in, the amount of water that you add, the amount of tea that you add, the amount of sugar that you add. Any change in this will make a change, will impact the taste. I'm sure some of you would have experienced McDonald's. McDonald's is there throughout the world. You will get the same taste wherever you go. That they standardized the process of making their products. They follow exact same procedure everywhere, and they source their inputs perfectly so that you will not feel any difference in the taste. So the point here that I'm trying to highlight here is, for simple steps like this, even if one step goes wrong or if there's a minor variation, it will lead to an impact in the output or the customer experience. So when you have a complex systems, when you have systems based on artificial intelligence where you expect a computer to think, it becomes more vulnerable. The systems becomes more vulnerable. I'll show you one example. Some of you would have may remember this incident. This happened a couple of years ago. This is about Boeing 737 MAX aircraft. I think one was in Indonesia, another was in Ethiopia. Both these flights, both these aircrafts crashed for the same reason. And it was later it was found that one of their AI system, artificial intelligence systems, about managing characteristics augmentation system failed because of a failure in some. It was proved based on the data available, publicly available data on this about and, about the I don't have the exact term, but depending on the there are some decisions that this aircraft was trained to fail. Not just basic automation, even an AI based on automates. It's very important that we perfect the process first. The automation is done the process. How does work? Set up so it does some set of steps automatically, right? So when you do automation, whether with AI or without AI, it is very important and critical that we perfect the process first. So when I'm talking about process, I'm talking about quality, right? So quality can be ensured only by perfecting the process and then automating it further. In other words, slightly I'm getting into the language of machine learning. If you need to have a successful artificial intelligence, you need to perfect the process. In machine learning parlance, I would call it performance parameters. These are two parameters which are important in machine learning. In a simple words, a successful AI requires perfect process plus meaningful analytics. Right. In this previous example, the system used airspeed, altitude, and angle of attack to determine when to activate the MCAS. This is some kind of analytics built into this. It's kind of machine learning here. So that is impacted by the way how it analyzes it. Meaningful analytics, in machine learning parlance, it is called as hyperparameters, and things like learning rate, etc., which talks about performance parameter of a machine learning model, are important to ensure that we get a good product out of AI. Another thing that I want to highlight is artificial intelligence is an umbrella term. There are many things that you can do in artificial intelligence. It's not only about autonomous cars. Uh, it's not only about Internet of Things based on sensors. It's not only your voice recognition systems. It's an umbrella term where some amount of um, you know cognitive algorithms are implemented. And machine learning is, if I say artificial intelligence is a product or a product which has artificial intelligence in it, machine learning will act as the brain of artificial intelligence. Machine learning is about continuously learning the skills and giving inputs to the product. For example, if you are talking about an autonomous car, right? Autonomous car should be able to watch the signal. It should have a computer vision. It should see whether it is red, green, or yellow, and make a decision whether to drive. Right? Those physical movements are not intelligence, but the decision whether to stop or not, that's machine learning. It learns over experience. Deep learning is a subset of machine learning. It's more about this is a new area. Deep learning is a bit niche. Deep learning was, I would say it is it's an advancement of neural networks. I studied neural networks in the college back then. And the first thing you know where to apply, how to apply, there was some kind of stuff that we were at. I couldn't find any areas where networks could be successfully applied. It's more like theory. Almost till 2010, neural networks was kind of a concept which was not seen as feasible at all. In fact, many universities across the world are trying to remove these courses on neural networks and move on with something else which is feasible. But in 2010, some things happened in the industry. Mathematical concepts which attained saturation and just stayed for almost 25 years were cracked by an AI expert known as Jeff Hinton from University of Toronto. He applied some very basic fundamental calculus techniques. Yeah, I'm sure most of you will know what is called partial differentiation. He came up with new techniques, and he totally revived the way how neural networks can be done. And secondly, by 2010, there's a company called NVIDIA. They came up with a lot of new hardware with high computing power that led to capability of processing a lot of data in no time. That led to this concept of deep learning. It's more about understanding the subject much more with a lot more sense. Machine learning has many algorithms. Deep learning is one of them, and among many algorithms, deep learning is one area which is being explored and which is kind of easy also relatively to other techniques. Let's get some more understanding about AI. You see, these are all, I've picked up very few AI applications like virtual personal assistant, natural language processing. Natural language processing in the sense your response systems. When you talk to a computer, it should respond to you. That is not natural language processing. Deep learning, simulation modeling, translation. So all these are AI techniques. There is one thing which is common to all these techniques. Can anyone guess what is that? So among all these AI techniques, there is one thing which is common, which is nothing but analytics. All these techniques depends heavily on analytics. I would also say most of them will need machine learning also. So importance of analytics in AI, it's something which we should not miss out. When we talk about AI, you should have some understanding of analytics first, and then get into any particular product that you are, any particular area where you are interested in. So let's see something about analytics. Predominantly, analytics is around the machine learning. Machine learning is nothing but over the time how your model, your machine learning model, or a set of code is able to learn and use that learning for further decision making, or it continuously keeps learning. So there are several techniques in under machine learning. It's broadly classified into these three: supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and reinforcement learning. This is very useful for me in driving Six Sigma based initiatives. And in analyze phase, these things will help me to find out new things, which are, it helps me a lot in root cause analysis. Some of you would have learned regression in your college. Other techniques may be slightly different. I won't say they are very niche. All these techniques are there for a long time. Only thing is, it's never been used. At least most of the things which I learned during my engineering times, it was not directly applied, but now all these things are put to use. My general advice as a students, don't lose your mathematics notes. Keep it with you always. AI is all about predominantly mathematics. The computer science is more about the hardware part, or because the coding is there's no much of coding nowadays. There are systems which can write code. I would say, when your phone can listen to you and do something, right? Which means you really don't need to know coding at all, right? So over the time, coding won't be there. Over the time, this SQL language, have you heard about SQL language, structured query language, which is used for database? That won't be there because now you can talk to Alexa or Siri and ask for whatever work that you want, right? So impact of coding or dependency on coding will reduce a lot, but domain expertise is something that will be more important. So manage your learnings in the domain whichever that you are getting in. Once you're done with college, once you're getting into any industry, learn in that particular skill. Plus, be strong in fundamental mathematics and learn a bit of computer science. Understand what does a computer does. So all these things will be useful for you. See, machine learning and artificial intelligence as a career, it's for current IT organizations, but you can explore your dreams in your own domain and apply artificial intelligence there. That will deliver, that will help you to be more successful. Just want to highlight some more things. So I said about supervised learning, right? It's just an example. What is meant by supervised learning? Basically, you help the computer to learn. You train the computer first, and then let it work on it. Professor, I may need another 5 to 10 minutes. Can I take another maybe 7 minutes?
Doesn't matter, sir. You can continue, sir.
Oh,
yes, sir. You can continue.
Okay, thank you. So supervised learning is about training your computer model, your machine learning model, continuously so that it can learn and do the job over the time better and better, right? So one of the some examples is your voice recognition systems, right? As you speak more and more with your mobile phone, right? It learns much better to recognize what you really want, and it recognizes your words that you utter, and over the time it learns. Similarly, this is for your mobile phones. In a banking industry, machine learning models can analyze all these data of the various customers, and it can provide an index of whether this customer can be trusted or not, whether this customer will pay back the loans or not. That critical things can be established by supervised learning, and there are many more applications. Another one in Amazon, when you try to buy something, right, based on your buying pattern, Amazon will recommend things. That's supervised learning. And there are several algorithms for this. So when I say algorithms, I hope some of you will understand what is an algorithm. Algorithm is nothing but set of steps that you do to complete a requirement. For example, any mathematical technique. You might know what is a differentiation, right? The code that you write to solve a problem, that is to solve a requirement, that is an algorithm. So these are different algorithms which are quite popular in supervised learning: regression, classification, support vector machines, etc. So if you are interested in the subject, try to learn regression, classification. See, all these algorithms, all these programming codes are readily available in open source. If you know Python, or if you know R language, or even if you know C++, all these codes are available in. You can just Google it. You can find many. Apart from whatever that is already there, some major IT giants like IBM or Amazon, Microsoft, they all provide machine learning platforms where it is already defined, but they do charge for all these analytics. So they will help you to do regression analysis. You supply the data to them, it will share the findings. So all these things can be done. Gone are the days where we used to sit and write a code. Now nobody writes a code. They either use a platform-based solution, which is already there, or they really want to use an open source or a free code. Google it and find a code and customize it to your requirement. Those are the algorithms possible for supervised learning. I'll show you one more example. It's unsupervised learning. So, given a situation, supervised learning means you are teaching that person, teaching that system to learn. Unsupervised is you are letting the system to learn it by itself. The best example that I can give is the Google News. Some of you would have seen Google News. It groups set of news articles into one and it presents it, right? That is clustering. It learns it over the time. You don't train Google on it, or you don't train in your system on it. So these algorithms are based on techniques like a priori or k-means, hierarchical clustering. So ARM stands for associative rule mining. So based on it reads a news article and reads another article. If they are similar, it groups it together. It's not only meant for news, it also helps you to segment or categorize different types of customers. There are, I don't know whether I can give this example. Okay, let me give this example. In US, you know what is a diaper, right? Baby's diaper, right? It is quite, one of the study in US, across the US, it was found that whenever a man, a male individual tries to, whenever he buys a diaper for baby at home, he seems to also buy some alcohol. It was a strange association, and it was proven. And there were some social experiments that was done, and it was found that usually this guy will whoever guys, whenever they try to buy alcohol, they feel a bit guilty about it, and they want to buy something for home. They do not know what to buy for the home. So, but diaper is something which will be always required. So, and they proved this social experiment. That's based on ARM, associative mining. Uh, it might look strange, and it was an interesting study. And there are several such studies were done. Basically, to understand when a customer buys something, he also what else he may buy, or what are the things that he might buy according to his buying trends, or a similar people's buying trend. There was one study, similar study, where a person trying to it's observed that most of the guys who buy mathematics statistics books, in Amazon or over the internet, they tend to buy a guitar. We don't know what is this relationship between guitar and a statistics book, but it is proven by ARM. And so, if you go to Amazon, whenever, in case if you are a person who buys like statistics books, Amazon will recommend you good guitars also. These kind of things are possible in unsupervised learning. There's another thing, third one, reinforcement learning. It's quite useful in robotics, for gaming, etc. It's kind of a semi-supervised learning. It's more about you teach something for the you actually don't teach. You come up with an algorithm and set some ground rules, and set some constraints, and make the system to learn it by itself, by basically to learn through mistakes. So whenever it loses a game, it finds out why it lost it, finds the root cause, and next time it won't do that same mistake. That is called reinforcement learning. So these three types of learning are quite popular in machine learning. I just want to showcase some areas. See, this is a machine learning technique on the right side, and what I have on the left side is what we generally do. Predict class of data. It's similar to classification or categorization, or how do I say? By looking at a product, by looking at suppose you are seeing a vehicle, right, and it has two wheels, and there is a handlebar for steering, right? This is the thing which you are seeing. You instantly recognize it. It can be a cycle or a motorcycle, right? It has two wheels and it has a handlebar steering, right? And suppose if you see four wheels, and there's a box over it, so it can be a car, or it can be a truck, or it can be a bus. You recognize it, right? That is predicting what it is. So these kind of predictions can be done using classification or categorization machine learning technique. Similarly, predicting numerical value, continuously varying value. So today's temperature is, assume it is 30 degrees. Based on some understanding of your, based on your experience, you might predict, okay, tomorrow also it will be 30, or maybe 29 or 31. That's a natural way how we predict it. Computers will do it using regression technique. Similarly, I gave you this Google example, right? Google News for clustering, grouping a certain type of products together. So if I give you, if I talk about four things, for example, if I say a car, a motorcycle, and a bus, and a book, right? So first three things that I said is about transportation, but book is different, right? So naturally we know to classify, that is called clustering, and showing similar products in Amazon, that is recommendation. And I also spoke about association rule mining. It's about recommending based on your buying patterns, recommending a different product based on your buying pattern. And time series analysis, this kind of forecast, it's on chronological data. Most of you will be having smartphones. If you get weather updates, to your location, right? So nobody feeds this data. It collects data from various satellites, and it's to that location based on the GPS information. It applies techniques like ARIMA. ARIMA is kind of a forecasting technique. It's an algorithm which tells you what would be the forecasted temperature tomorrow, day after tomorrow, and hourly also. And you can get that for various locations across the globe. That is a machine learning technique. Dimensionality reduction is choosing the important features. The way how customers buy a product. For example, if I'm going to buy a car for my daily commute to office, I live in Sholinganallur, so my office is nearby. So I would expect a small car. I really don't want a very big car because I don't want to get stuck in traffic, right? So these kind of features, what would be expected from the customer? What are the topmost features, right? That are important. That is called dimensionality reduction. There may be 1,000 features which will be useful for the customer, but the topmost features which are useful. That is dimensionality reduction. And similarly, there are a lot more techniques. Considering time, I really don't want to get into. But what I'm saying is, explore this. There are a lot of machine learning algorithms which will be useful. Before I end this presentation, I want to show you a couple of videos or things. Do you see? There are 6 pictures on this slide. Do you know who are they? Can anyone identify who are they? Actually, none of these people they really don't exist. These are real fake pictures. This is an advanced way of it's based on neural networks. It's kind of a niche right now and quite advanced right now. It's known as generative adversarial network. This is useful in many places. Let me show one quick video. It's about an AI presenter. We all watch news, right? A person reads the news. So what if I can replace a news reader?
Hello everyone,
Do you see that? That's not a person. It's actually it's just a fake person. It's not a real person at all. Right? It's AI-based newsreader. These are all based on GAN technique. I'll show you one more video also. See this one. See, it's really not Barack Obama. It is. We can construct that. It looks really like that, right? So what I'm trying to say is things are possible. Artificial intelligence, neural networks, machine learning, these are very relevant nowadays. It's time to adapt, understand, and develop our skill set in AI. So, like Andrew Ng said, AI will be the new electricity. So there are certain things. Before I leave, want to show how a machine learning model is prepared. This is another video. I would recommend you to go through this whenever you get some free time. But at high level, these are the steps involved. If you want to build a machine learning model, prepare the data, gather data, prepare it, choose a model, choose the performance parameters, hyperparameters, and predict it. It's not very difficult. Only thing you need to make sure is you understand what is mathematics. It's a high-level approach of how to. Okay, this is the history of how this analytics came up. Earlier, it was only about data, reporting the data, and later people thought of some basic analysis. Now we do some kind of predictive modeling, and we predict what can happen in future. But latest one is getting into more prescriptive. We just don't predict, we also recommend the customer that this is exactly what you need to do for you to be successful. One example of prescriptive analytics is your Ola or Uber taxis tells you what is the price, what is the cost of that ride, right? It calculates that. So it's prescriptive analytics. I have one short video on Wipro analytics, AI in Wipro. I will skip it. Let me show one quick 30 seconds video on what one of our customers says. This is something which Wipro did for airport customer based in Canada. So this is one of our important customer where we applied some AI solutions for airport operating out of Canada. And there are some more links. Explore more on what Wipro does. Log into Wipro.com. You'll see a lot of things that Wipro does in digital space. And Homes is our AI platform where we develop artificial intelligence based solution. So with respect to quality, I look at analytics and artificial intelligence will be the game changer in meeting the customer requirements. So as a master black belt in Wipro, I'm going to drive three things. One, process, perfect the process, understand the data, understand your customer, and drive solutions using artificial intelligence. It can be for internal operations, it can be for consulting for my external customers. So that's it. I skipped a couple of slides, considering paucity of time. So if there are any questions, I can take it up. Professor, I'm sorry I got delayed.
It is indeed a great pleasure, sir. It is a very good presentation. There is only one query, sir. Can you relate data analytics and artificial intelligence with the COVID-19 situation?
Very good question. Considering current times, when considering the pandemic situation, considering the crisis, right? Cost has become a very vital parameter. Lots of data is there in social media. not only in social media, lots of data is there everywhere, and a lot of computing power is also there in terms of GPUs. You know, it's important that we all the organizations. I'm not talking about IT organizations alone. We work towards transformational initiatives, come up with AI-based solutions for our customers. I won't say AI is costly. It's not expensive. AI is cost efficient, considering it's only about data. It's only about stitching them together and providing a solution. So in COVID situation, where cost is important and where safety is very important, things that you develop, considering these two in mind, will be the first choice for our customers. So it's important. That's why I'm trying to say analytics, AI will drive cost and safety. I hope I answered the questions.
Okay, thank you, sir. So first, I would like to thank to our management, our beloved chairman, Dr. Babu Managaran sir, managing director, Mrs. Jessie Priya ma'am, director, Mr. Shashi Shekhar sir, principal Dr. Vaddi Sheshagiri Rao sir, dean ma'am, Dr. P. Parvathamardhani madam. So and also thanks to my department HODs, Dr. R. Sivakumar sir, students affairs, and Dr. P. Deepa madam, lab affairs. Also to thanks to my colleagues. So my special thanks to our speaker, Mr. Rajalingam sir, who gave a wonderful speech. So last but not least, so the participant, without you, so can't the make the event successful. Thank you once again. So thanks to everyone. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for giving this opportunity. It was indeed great honor talking to you all. Thank you so much.
Rajalingam sir, shall we end the session?